How's it going, guys? It's me, Brandon Matula.
And I am Thomas Hicks. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Hot This Week, where we talk about what's hot this week and just about everything under the sun. Brandon, you want to go ahead and introduce the episode to everyone?
Yes. So, as you know, Tuesdays, it's our entertainment day, so we're going to be focusing on that today. And we just got a lot of fun stuff. Maybe a little review of Suicide Squad.
Maybe.
A little surprise from Tommy with the movie department. Maybe a little bit of music talk. And from the sports side, that's me. I'm the sports guy. I'll be just giving you all a little bit of news, just keeping it short today, and then a little something special, just something to look forward to. My Brandon Matula's top 5 matchups coming up this Labor Day weekend, and I am very excited. Tommy, I just want to get right into this, but first of all, we're going to start off by just saying thank you. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are awesome for tuning in. Y'all are the best. I mean, I can't say more. We just started this, and it means a lot that we have people supporting us. So thank you.
Yeah, our 5th episode. This is crazy. I feel like we've been doing this for a long time, but I also feel like we've been doing this for the amount of time that we have been, which is pretty short. But yeah, 2 episodes every week, and it's been nothing but fun. And we appreciate you guys who have been very kind to us on the journey. As you guys, if you follow the Instagram, you know, we've had, for some reason, episode 4, although it is one of my favorites, it's cursed for some reason because I just cannot post it, the snippet on Instagram, or even the post that says episode 4 is live. It just will not let me post it. So there's an awesome snippet that I have of Brandon and I. It's my favorite thing ever. I listen to it every freaking day. It's so sick. Hopefully I can get that up on at least one of our Snapchats or one of our Instagrams, but it was really frustrating because I really wanted to get that out to you guys. But thank you for listening. You don't have to listen, but you are, so thank you. And I think we'll have a lot more luck this week.
Yeah,
getting that.
And one last thing, just to inform our listeners, we have decided, Tommy and I, to take our podcast off of SoundCloud due to finance issues and just some technicalities with that. But we will be keeping our content on Spotify and YouTube. And soon, I know we said this earlier, but we will be getting it this week with Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
We'll try to get our best to get all of our episodes on there so you can listen to all of them on there if that's where you like to listen to your podcast. And our podcasts are going to just be found on 3 best places to find podcasts: YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So we're excited about that, and we just wanted to let y'all know before we get into today's episode. Tommy, without further ado, you ready to rock and roll?
Yes, I am ready to rock and roll. Very excited for today's episode. I was thinking, what are we going to do today? What are we going to do? And this is something I've actually been working on for over 2 months. I have a list here. It's my top 50 most essential films you must watch before you die. Now, I know you're like, dude, there's literally a bajillion films out there in the world. How do you boil it down to 50? And my answer is, I know. It was really hard. This was freaking tough. And keep in mind, there's a lot of foreign directors I've been getting into these past few years, like Ingmar Bergman and Andrei Tarkovsky. But it's just really hard to watch their films because you either have to buy the $40 Criterion Blu-ray or you have to look them up on some website that's for sure going to give me viruses on my computer. So I'm trying my best to get into those foreign films that is just the foundation of film itself. But with every single thing that I have accessible to me, so all those streaming platforms, plus my Blu-rays, plus things I've rented and movies I've seen in the theater, this is these are the top 50 best films I have seen, but it's not just bias. It's like I legit think you guys have to see these movies if you call yourself a movie lover. For some of you guys, you might have seen all of them. For a few, maybe none. And Brandon, I'm very excited to see which ones he has and has not seen. And once again, I've been making this list over a couple months. So I'm at 58 right now. So I'll do honorable mentions, and then I'll just get going up from 50 to 1. So yeah, I'm not going to waste any time. We're just going to get right on into it. So here are 4 honorable mentions, or 5 honorable mentions before 50. So at 55, I have Minority Report by Steven Spielberg. Very fun film. Deserves a Blade Runner 2049 sequel that I've said all over my Snapchat. So very fond of that. Number 54, Pig by Michael Saranowski. Great film. Just watching the theater. Love it. 53, American Psycho, directed by Mary Harron. Funny film, dude. Funny film. 52, one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time, District 9, directed by Neil Blomkamp. Takes sci-fi on a different little spin. I like it. Nice. It's one you got to see. And then 51 of the honorable mentions, is Slumdog Millionaire.
Whoa, I loved that movie. That movie was incredible.
Yeah, it hits. It hits hard. But yeah, without further ado, here is a 50 to 1. Starting with 50, The Sandlot, directed by David M. Evans. Dude, just classic. Like,
funny.
They throw the word classic gets thrown around here and there, but classic. 49, Minari, directed by Lee Isaac Chung. 48, Sicario, directed by Denis Villeneuve. 47, The Departed, directed by Martin Scorsese. 46, The Lovely Bones, directed by Peter Jackson. 45, you guys know I was been looking forward to this film for freaking ever. Finally got a chance to watch it. Did not disappoint. A visual masterpiece. At 45, I have The Green Knight, directed by David Lowery.
Nice.
Incredible film.
I need to watch it soon. It's still in theaters, correct?
Yeah, it's a lot more selective now that it's been out for 2 weeks because it's a tinier film. It's A24, but visual, it's like watching acid. It's awesome. 44, Brandon, you got to see this film. This has your name written all over it. The Prestige.
I've seen it. I love
Christopher
this movie.
Nolan.
Yes, absolutely. Great movie.
Yeah.
I will not spoil it for our listeners, but oh my goodness, this movie's got a twist. I won't tell you where it is, but you just got to see.
Oh, it's so good. When I think of that film, I'm like, you know what? I bet Brandon has seen this and he appreciates it. So I'm glad you do. Next film, Brandon, I wish you would have I don't know if you finished this one, but talk about a film that's got Brandon written all over it, and just a incredible film all around. Superbad.
Nice.
At 43, directed by Greg Mottola. I'll never forget. Brandon's his entire life, it's been hyped up. McLovin and the movie Superbad. Then we watched it. I watched it with Brandon. McLovin says his first sentence, and Brandon just starts dying laughing. What's up, gangsters? Oh, it's so funny. 42, Midnight in Paris, directed by Woody Allen. Very beautiful film. Nice. 41, I've got another classic alert. Titanic.
Nice.
Titanic.
I'm starting to respect this list a lot. It's got a lot of I feel like, not to take up your time, but
no, you're
doing
good.
Very good with as far as it being a classic, iconic, and just cinematography. And this list is hitting so far. It's doing great.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to split up between bias and what you actually need to watch. But yeah, it was tough. It was a very tough list, but I'm glad you're liking it. I'm glad it has the Brandon stamp of approval. Also, one thing I want to say, thank you, Brandon, because you reminded me. I wanted to say that there will be no Star Wars, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, Lord of the Rings. That won't be on here just because it's kind of hard to rank those because there's movies that are better than others in those series. So none of those will be on here.
Yeah, you're really talking about standalone movies in these ones. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Not series.
I would say films. Those are movies. These are films.
Yes.
Which there is a difference. But, so yeah.
So at number 40.
40. Yes, number 40. Thank you. Boogie Nights, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. Sounds silly, but it's about the 1970s porn scene in Los Angeles, California. And that sounds inappropriate, but it actually it really puts into perspective the damage of the pornography industry.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. So
something people need.
Yeah, they need to hear it. So it does a really good job. Won't get too much into it, but Boogie Nights, it's on Netflix right now. Paul Thomas Anderson, check it out. 39, I got Prisoners, directed by Denis Villeneuve. Brandon, have you seen Prisoners?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah, well, crazy film. Talk about a twist. Prisoners at 39. 38, I have About Time, directed by Richard Curtis. It's on Netflix. Really fun time travel rom-com. Yeah, time travel rom-com. It works. It shouldn't work, but it does. So 38, I have About Time. 37, one of my most favorite films of all time. It is a little low, surprisingly, but one of the greatest and one of my favorite films of all time. Lady Bird, directed by Greta Gerwig. If you're a teenager, I think it should be required by law to watch this film. It is the most relatable teenage film. One of the most relatable teenage films out there, if not, and it's definitely the best one, but one of the most relatable. So 36, Brandon, is what I mentioned. I believe episode 3 is The Master, again by Paul Thomas Anderson, the film with Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman. And they go into how the Church of Scientology was created.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Crazy film. It's on Netflix. Do not miss this because you're going to kick yourself in the butt. This goes for everyone who's listening. You're going to kick yourself in the butt when this movie comes off Netflix because it's just, It's just, so good. 35, Split, M. Night Shyamalan. You've seen that, huh, Brandon?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was a big film. It was a big film.
Yeah, I really need to rewatch it. I really kind of watched it for the action, if that makes sense. I really didn't pay attention to the dialogue in that film.
Yeah,
and I feel like I need to.
Well, that's a great point because that's with his different personality. That's kind of what the film is about, the dialogue between all of them. So great film into the study of a multiple personality disorder. Incredible work. Number 34, La La Land, Damien Chazelle. La La Land. It just hits you. It hits you different. So yeah, La La Land. 33, very underrated film. Not many people have seen this one. At Eternity's Gate, directed by Julian Schnabel. It is it stars William Dafoe, probably my second or third favorite actor. And it's a little biopic about Van Gogh. And it is told in an extremely unique way. Crazy movie. Very calm, but it shows just how obsessed Van Gogh was with his art. And the cinematography is some of the most daring cinematography I've ever seen in my life. So At Eternity's Gate, it's on Netflix. Don't miss it. 33. At number 32, we have Seven, directed by David Fincher. That's my favorite director of all time, David Fincher. Seven's known as one of the greatest of all time. Rightfully so. Big twist at the end. Great film. At number 31, Call Me By Your Name, directed by Luca Guadagnino. It just does not get better than Call Me By Your Name. I mean, hits you. Really deep film. Hard to watch, too. Not hard to watch because it's inappropriate. I don't mean it like that. Hard to watch because of how real love is. Love is very deep. And excuse me if I butchered that name, too. At number 30, Jake Gyllenhaal, his career-defining performance in Nightcrawler at number 30, directed by Dan Gilroy. Probably my 7th favorite movie of all time. Incredible stuff. And at number 29, another one of my favorite movies. No one really knows about this one. The Rover, directed by David Maffon. Guy Pearce, Robert Pattinson. Guy Pearce's car gets stolen in the middle of Australia during an apocalypse, but they don't tell you which one. Zombie, vampire, just lack of food or water, they let you guess, or they let you, it's up to you which kind of apocalypse it is. Crazy film. The Rover. It's the most daring, but the most calm, the most fast, but the most slow. It's like, it's got every bit of everything in that film. Great stuff. At 28, Uncut Gems by the Safdie brothers.
Yes. Woo.
I mean,
Love that movie.
Gosh, I've told people who are interested in what I want to do with film and at film school, like the Safdie brothers is who I study. I love their films. I think it's in your face, and that's how I like it. So Uncut Gems is, and talk about just in your face, literally and figuratively. 27, classic Alien by Ridley Scott. Very scary film, very fun. 26, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Wes Anderson.
Beautiful film. Great cinematography.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wes Anderson's symmetrical cinematography does not fail. So yeah, Grand Budapest Hotel. Number 25, Gone Girl. It's kind of hard to put into words how not. I mean, yes, good, but like what it's about, because it's also it's and I mean kind of comical, but it's about marrying the right woman, but also like making sure that you're in the right mindset to be married in the first place. And then, but overall, it's a crime thriller by David Fincher. You can't miss. David Fincher doesn't miss. Gone Girl is a must see for everyone. You got to see it. You have to see Gone Girl. Number 24, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, directed by Mel Stewart. Classic. We've all seen it. We all love it. Great songs. Cool movie. Just a cool movie. Number 23, one I would recommend Brandon to watch honestly tomorrow, and all of my friends if you haven't seen it. 2007's Best Picture winner, No Country for Old Men, directed by the Coen brothers. Josh Brolin versus Javier Bardem in the Wild West. Crazy film. Classic. Fight Club, directed by David Fincher. Classic. Needs no introduction. So yeah, Fight Club at 22. 21, Finding Nemo. Greatest animated movie of all time. Finding Nemo.
I agree.
Directed by Andrew Stanton.
Would you say that's your top Pixar movie?
Yes. Yes. Without a doubt. I think the only Pixar film that even gets close to Finding Nemo would be either Up or one of the Toy Stories. But yeah, no, Finding Nemo it's just lightning in a bottle, and it's hard to recreate that. And I feel like Pixar's been trying to ever since they made it. Number 20, Joaquin Phoenix's best performance, I Do Not Care. I Will Argue You. You know what? I'm sitting up. This is the sit up of the episode right here. You guys know I sit up every episode when things get real. It's getting real because this is Joaquin Phoenix's best performance. Number 20, we have Her, directed by Spike Jonze. An incredible film about Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with technology, with an AI kind of chip in his ear, and it's a woman voice, and he's like, I kind of like her, and she has personality to her, and he falls in love with her, which is like low key what we're moving into, slowly but surely. It's kind of a tough watch because it's a little awkward because it's so real, but yeah, one of the greatest films of all time. Lightning in a Bottle. Talk about Lightning in a Bottle. Number 20 of Her. 19, we've all seen it. We all love it, and rightfully so. It's this high up on the list. Inception, directed by Christopher Nolan. Hard to describe what Inception is like. It's like trying to describe what salt tastes like. You just can't. You can't put it into words. Number 18, 2019's Best Picture winner, Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho. A lot of people complain about subtitles and complain about having to watch movies with subtitles. But this film, you don't even realize you're reading them when you're watching this film. Love it. 17, classic Stand By Me, directed by Rob Reiner. Great little kid. Not kid, but early teen film from the 80s. 16, Whiplash, directed by Damien Chazelle. One of probably my top 5 of all time. A community college, I mean, I don't know about community, but a college drummer and his drum, for lack of a better term, excuse me, his drum coach, his drum captain, not drum captain, but his drum professor, for lack of a better term, of course. I'm not super, I don't know all my terms in the music world, is J.K. Simmons. And he gives a potentially top 5 performance of all time, J.K. Simmons. Crazy film about the deep dive into how passions can potentially make or ruin our lives. So Whiplash at 16:15, his best film. I do not care. I will argue with you all day about this. 15, we have Django Unchained by Quentin Tarantino.
Still need to see it.
Still need to see it. It's just fun. It's just fun. It's not fun because slavery's never fun, and slavery sucks. It sucks that it happened, and we very much so hate slavery on the podcast. So that's not fun. But the film, it's just so much fun. Django Unchained. 14, you've heard it a billion times, rightfully so. It's like watching Acid. 2001, A Space Odyssey at number 14, directed by Stanley Kubrick. If you don't know what you're getting yourself into, it can be a little boring. And I understand that. I understand when people say that. So know what you're getting yourself into before you watch it. Watch a review about it. 13, the greatest war film of all time, 1917, directed by Sam Mendes.
Yes, you love this film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen it at least 10 times in the theater all the way through. And then probably 20 times total, just bits and pieces, because I did work at a movie theater when this movie, I mean, I still do, but when this movie came out, I worked at a movie theater, and every single free chance I got, I snuck into the theater to watch this film. All filmed in one shot, incredible score, incredible soundtrack, impeccable acting, amazing set, amazing cinematography. Come on, all filmed in one shot. Amazing. The ending, like the pacing of the film. Oh, guys, it's my top 5 favorite film of all time, arguably. When we'll get to what might be my top 5. But number 12 on Netflix right now. Got to check it out. There Will Be Blood, directed by Paul. Daniel Day-Lewis is a man who drills oil. Sounds lame. Please check it out. Number 11, Good Time, directed by the Safdie brothers. Robert Pattinson gives a performance for the ages in a film that is just airtight and very, very. If you thought Uncut Gems was hectic, Good Time is like the worst day you've ever had times a billion. So wow. It's not a good time, but it's a good time watching it. Number 10, come on, Brandon. We all love and know this one. Forrest Gump.
Yes.
Forrest Gump.
Absolutely.
You made a good point, actually. We were talking about this earlier, that it's a great American film.
Yes, absolutely. Like if I was a history teacher, I would definitely put this film in for the class, like for everybody to read it, because it's just a great film that covers the 80s, 70s, 60s, that whole era, just the golden age of America, in my opinion. Yeah. And just really hashes everything pretty well. There's a lot of fun stuff that happens in the meantime, but all around great film. You need to watch it if you haven't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing? But really, great film. And that is directed by Robert Zemeckis. Number 9, Enemy, directed by Denis Villeneuve. I'm not even going to tell you what it's about because it's best to go in blind. One of the craziest pseudo-sexual kind of thrillers, horror movies that's not even about that, but it's about that. It's more of just like a mystery, but it has all those things combined. Crazy film. Not going to say anything else. Jake Gyllenhaal, one of his best performances, Enemy. Number 8, this man's best film, and I will argue that all day because everyone will say Interstellar. No. Memento, directed by Christopher Nolan. If you don't know the twist of this film, because you find out the twist in the beginning, it's very unique. If you don't know it, though, I'm not going to tell you. Just go into it blind, and you're going to be like, WTF. Number 7, Brandon, you can go ahead and tell them what number 7 is, because it's the greatest superhero film of all time, directed by, also by Christopher Nolan. So what is that going to be?
The Dark Knight.
Yep. Greatest acting performance of all time in Heath Ledger's Joker. Incredible pacing, fun film, nerve-wracking. I mean, like, if you're listening to this, you've probably seen this film. If you have not, I showed it to my girlfriend. She loved it, and that's how you know it's a good film because hates movies. So, number 6, not his best film in my opinion, but a film. If you are into films, you have to see this. Pulp Fiction, directed by Quentin Tarantino. You have to see it.
Absolutely.
You gotta. There's a reason it's like so highly praised. Pulp Fiction. Number 5, one of the greatest black and white films from the 50s, 12 Angry Men, directed by Sidney Lumet. A kid is going to get the death penalty unless whatever the jury says he gets. And 11 men say he's guilty, but one man says he's not. And that's all I'm going to say. Number 4, probably my 5th, between this, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Whiplash. They're all kind of my 5, 6, and 7 favorite films of all time. But this movie is probably pretty strong on my 5th on my list. Anyways, number 4, Zodiac, directed by David Fincher. I've only gotten emotional in 3 films. It's this one and the next one, and then Where the Wild Things Are when I was little. Zodiac, Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo's best performances all together in one film.
Wow.
About the Zodiac Killer.
Those are some of my favorite actors. I love Robert De Niro.
Yeah, or Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, Robert Downey Jr. Yes.
Hey, De Niro, though. Can't blame you with De Niro.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but seriously, Zodiac is long, but it is such a tight, compact, concise, to the point thriller about. It's not even about the Zodiac. It shows you some of the killings, but it's more so how the police couldn't solve it, although the answers were kind of right in front of us, but they just gave up, and it's just an emotional gut punch. But even more emotional, and easily my 4th favorite film of all time. And I've said this before, that it is the most important film of the past 10 years. Number 3, we have Moonlight, directed by Barry Jenkins. It's hard to grow up African American in America. It's even harder to grow up gay and African American in America, and even harder to grow up poor and gay and African American in America. Moonlight is this is the second film that has also made me emotional because, well, I guess I did Crider and Pig, what is what is it? It's 54 on my list, but Moonlight. Look, this is a podcast, but I'm speechless because it's that good of a film. I've never seen a film so raw and so real about the life of a human. That's all I can say. If you haven't seen Moonlight, no matter your political stance, no matter what you think about anything that you have engraved in your brain, put your biases aside. Moonlight, number 3. And this is my list of the most important films of all time. It's incredible. Moonlight, number 3. Number 2, if you know me, you know this is my second favorite film. Directed by Robert Eggers, The Lighthouse. Starred Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe. It's the lock screen on my phone. I've got a shirt. I have the Blu-ray. I don't know what more I can say other than 2019, came out in 2019, black and white, 16:1 aspect ratio film about 2 lighthouse keepers that go into madness because it's hard to be alone on an island. Not much more I can say about this film without getting into it, but The Lighthouse is the second greatest film of all. Out of all the films I've seen quite a few. The Lighthouse is the second best film I've ever seen. And finally, at number 1, to wrap things up, we have, which is my favorite film of all time, because I did say there's going to be a little bias. This is the only part I got a little bias. I feel like I've been pretty fair, but rightfully so. At number 1, we have The Social Network, directed by David Fincher. This is what film is all about. The Social Network. It's a character study, kind of like Moonlight, except with Moonlight you see, child, teenager, adult. With The Social Network, it's just Mark's time in college. And it's cool because I am now getting to the age where because I watched this movie for the first time my freshman year of high school. So I was like, 14, 15. So I'm now getting into the age that Mark was, and knowing how young he was when he created something that changed the entire world and how he did it, and seeing it unfold in the way that David Fincher did it with the best screenplay of all time, written by Aaron Sorkin. And it cuts in at exactly 2 hours, no more, no less. It's 2 hours flat. And yes, the cinematography is great. It has my favorite score of all time, my favorite soundtrack score of all time. Some of the greatest acting I've ever seen. Amazing pacing. Like, yes, all of that aside, what the film is about and how it makes you feel like you're going to Harvard, no matter what the age, I think is not only lightning in a bottle, but something that we won't see for a very, very long time. So at number one, I have The Social Network.
Honestly, like, I love this number one, and I just love this movie when it came out. I've shown it to so many people, and it's just really cool to see like how Facebook was really brought about. Mm-hmm. And it's sad to see that it was brought out of vain. And just the moral of the story is like really great. Like, it just shows like it's a cruel, dark world out there, and sometimes the successful people are not always the good guys. So that's it was interesting to see.
Exactly. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. You have to see this movie. It is the best movie of all time, in my opinion.
Well, guys, that's it. That's Tommy's top 50 movies. Let us know what you think. I was blown away. I think I was very impressed by this list, and we hope you were too. But just moving on, we're just going to give y'all a concise and quick review, as like we like to do on this show. Mm-hmm. We like to be concise. And on Suicide Squad, not just Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Tommy, what was your favorite part about this movie and why?
My favorite part, and give him the Oscar right now, I don't care about the stigma of giving superhero actors an Oscar. My favorite part was Idris Elba. I thought he was like, I don't really laugh during movies, but I thought he was hilarious. Mm-hmm. Such a good. He played the role so well. I love his accent. Like, we may have my new favorite cusser of all time. It was Samuel L. Jackson, but it may be Idris Elba. He was definitely my favorite part. He really stood out. Cool film. I feel like it's a little overrated. Everyone's like, oh, greatest superhero movie of all time. Oh my gosh. No, it's not. But it's a superhero movie done well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Great film all around. But yeah, I agree. It's a little bit overrated in my opinion, but just all around, I think it definitely did a lot better than the original Suicide Squad. And I'll tell you why. It's because it just did so much better with the storytelling, and it made us like really fall in love with each individual character so well. Like, I was just so connected with all of them, and I just enjoyed it so much. And I loved Peacemaker. Peacemaker was so funny, and he was really like the Drax of this movie because, as you know, James Gunn directed
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Suicide Squad. So, like, he directed the Suicide Squad, but he directed Guardians of the Galaxy, and that movie was really well made. And he kind of used that same formula and just put it into the Suicide Squad, and it was just a success all around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great point. I love this film. I think you need to see it in the theater instead of HBO Max. Because
I agree.
My opinion definitely changed. I watched the first half. I was sick, as you guys know if you've been listening to the podcast. I was sick, so I watched the first half at my house, my home. But then I watched the second half in the theater, and I loved the second half a lot more. But great, it was a good film. Yeah. I'm glad that superhero movies are starting to become rated R, because that's realistic. You know, having a superhero movie that's a little bloody, a little gory. And I hope the Batman is rated R. That'd be great, Robert Pattinson.
I believe it is.
Yeah, it's not rated yet, but dude, there's no way that thing's not going to be rated R. There's just no way. Anyways,
Yes, sir. But just to wrap things up on this movie review, what would you rate it out of 10?
out of 10, I would give the Suicide Squad. I'd give it a 7.
Nice.
To be more precise, out of 5 stars, I would give the Suicide Squad 4. 4 stars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I would give it around the same rating. I give it a 8 out of 10 and 4 stars.
Nice.
But yeah, that's our review for that. So we hope you all enjoyed this segment. Just tell us what you think about this fun movie. Fun movie
Yeah,
already.
really fun. That's a great word. Fun. Thank you, Brandon.
Yes, but just to transition, we're gonna take a little different route before we get into sports. Our sports section's a little shorter this week. Tommy said that he wanted to go into college and back to school advice. Tommy, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for leading me into that. So, it's my first year going to college, and it's Brandon's last year going to college. And so I was thinking, a lot of our listeners are either around my age or around your age, so they would both be able to either receive or give good input. But just for us to be the voice of that, Brandon, we're going to ask you, what's some advice you would give someone going into college? Any advice?
So for me, going into college is being open to trying new things. Me personally, I moved to a new city, so that was very easy for me to go and try new things and just have a tryer's mentality, just having the willingness to just try new things. And even though you may not like it, you gotta try things out. Like for me, I'm not like the biggest person who likes to go to downtown and hang out there. My first year, I went to downtown Dallas a lot, rode on scooters, and just had a blast. And I just learned and found new things that I enjoyed so much, just exploring and just having that explorer's mindset. I would recommend getting into a fraternity, or not really just a fraternity, but just a group where you can just have common,
like a club, maybe.
Yeah, a club. Just having common interests with a group of people, because it's good to have a group of friends, and that's easy to find through friend groups at times. But sometimes you find friend groups through those communities, so that's a lot of fun. And then the last thing I'd just recommend is just trying to meet as many people as possible, because it's truly a great network. It doesn't matter where you go; you're going to find a great network any college you go to, and you never know, you might meet these people along the road in your career. And let's say I become friends with someone in the group that wants to do the same thing that I do, and he's higher up than me later on in life, and he sees me and he's like, oh yeah, I know this guy, yeah, we met in college. And one thing I've always heard is it's not about the connections you make, it's about the hands you shake. And
Nice.
And that's one of the things in college that really helps you. You get to create your own network. So yeah, it's just my advice going to that.
Thank you. I'm gonna be taking all that advice and applying it to my first year. So that's kind of stuff to do. So I'm glad you covered that, because I was going to ask you what to do, and then also was going to ask you what not to do. Is there something that you went into college and you were like, oh, I need to do this, and you're like, wait, I don't have to do this. There's no need. Or, oh man, don't slack off here, or don't do this. Is there anything that you would suggest either staying away from or not doing, or fixing a habit or something? That makes sense.
Yeah. This one may sound obvious, but it's very vital. And it was the reason why I've done well in college is because I took this advice is do not skip class.
Okay.
And I know you're going to get tempted every now and then to be like, oh, I don't have to go, which is fine, because you can skip every now and then, once or twice a semester if you're taking 3 days a week. But if it were me, I would not skip class. It's just not a good idea. And I would just try to go to as much class as possible, and because it just helps you at the end. The biggest thing that works for me is as far as how hard you try in your classes. I go 100% for the first 75% of the semester, or the first 12 weeks. If you have a 16-week semester, you go hard for those first 12 weeks. And then after you've done all the homework and like all the assignments and done the best you could, you have a great grade in there, and you get to kind of coast towards the end because there's not a lot of assignments and you only have to study. So it's that's what I've been doing. It might work for my degree. It may not work for other people's, but yeah, that's what I have to say on that.
Awesome. Yeah, I will also be putting that into to my little advice section in my brain and taking that. That's cool. Because you're right, Brandon. Like, that is obvious. Like, don't skip class. But I feel like it's not, because we don't hear that enough. We don't hear don't skip class enough. At least I haven't, like, from stuff I've seen about college.
Yes.
But thank you. Okay, cool. So I will be taking all that into account, and I hope the listeners enjoyed that. And that being said, I'll go ahead and lead Brandon into the sports section since he led me. Brandon, I know we're going to cover some college football. So speaking of college football, just to kind of warm you up, I want to know, because this is your school, and a lot of our listeners are familiar with this campus as well. I want to know what your thoughts are going to be on first with basketball, and then we'll start with football, and we can get into football. But I want to know your thoughts on U of H. How do you think U of H is going to be this year in college?
Well, one thing I will say is that they need to be good this year because it's due time for Dana Holgorsen to get this program rolling. In the past, a lot of people have seen that we've had some success here and there, but it's time to build a dynasty at Houston. We're done with the idea of being a good team every 4 years. We need to get going now, and this needs to be the year where we have at least and winning a bowl game. And that's just what my prediction is going to be, because the schedule's not that hard. And if we just focus and we just take care of business, we should be great.
Okay.
But, yeah, and thank you for asking me that. I just love Houston football, and I'll get to that later. But just to get into the swing of it with sports, just to fill y'all in a little bit, just what's going on in the sports world right now. NBA Summer League still going on. We're starting to see that some of the lottery picks or the higher picks are starting to sit down and hang up their sneakers for the Summer League, like Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham, and all those other guys just who don't really need to fight for a spot on the team. But other than that, just a lot of fun performances. Quentin Grimes from the University of Houston scored 28 the other night, scored 26 Monday night, and just incredible stuff from him. I believe he was the 25th pick. And from there, as far as free agency, most of the NBA rosters are filled. There was a trade that happened yesterday that sent Rajon Rondo, Patrick Beverly, and Arturu, I think that's his name, to the Grizzlies for Eric Bledsoe. So that's interesting. And then the 76ers are still shopping Ben Simmons. Still can't find a deal for him, but we should be seeing something in that department soon. NFL preseason is starting up. Very fun stuff. A lot of the rookies are doing great. Max Kellerman made a stellar statement today out of First Take that he thinks that this is the most talented quarterback draft class ever.
Wow.
And that's saying a lot. Just to throw in some names. Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, just great players in this group, and many more. So I'm excited to see what happens from there. And then just another fun tidbit. I'm not a big baseball guy, but I have seen Field of Dreams. Tommy, have you seen Field of Dreams?
I know about it. I wish I could find the freaking Blu-ray for it, because I would be on that immediately. But no, to answer your question, no, I haven't. Been wanting to see it for a long time, though.
Yeah. But just to fill y'all in who also haven't seen it, it's basically a movie about this guy who has this cornfield, and there's a baseball field on it, and these old players from before this guy, when this kid would watch baseball when he was a kid, would show up. it's a fictional movie, so it's it's fun. And then MLB used the field that the movie was filmed on, and they had a baseball game on it featuring the White Sox and the Yankees. And it was, gosh, a lot of people were saying that this was the best thing the MLB has done in a while, and I would agree. So very fun stuff there. So that's just the news for the sports. And today we're going to keep things a little short with what we're covering today. So today we'll just be covering in my opinion, the top 5 matchups coming up for Labor Day weekend. So I'm just going to get right into it. Tommy, you could just give comments here and there because there will be some teams that you might have an opinion on. But to start things out, it's going to be a top 25 matchup between Texas and Louisiana Lafayette. Texas is coming in with a brand new head coach, and he was the offensive coordinator from Alabama. And it'll be fun to see how he does in his opener. And it's against a team that's only ranked 2 above them. Texas is 21. This team and the Raging Cajuns are 23, so it'll be fun to watch. And then number 4, I say this unbiasedly, it is a kickoff game, so it's going to be exciting. It's between Houston and Texas Tech. I think this will be a fun shootout because these are 2 teams that help create the spread offense. And, yeah, I'm just excited to see what happened. I'm going to be going to the game. Tommy might also be going, so you might hear some stuff about that later on. And then at number 3 is a Big Ten matchup between Indiana and Iowa. It's a top 20 matchup. So that'll be fun. It's also a conference game, and these teams are honestly dark horses in the Big Ten this year, so it'll be fun to watch how they do. And then these are the fun ones. These are top 15 matchups, these next 2, and they have a lot of playoff implications. Not a lot of top 15 matchups this year. As we saw in 2016. But so to start out is Miami versus Alabama. This is going to be an incredible matchup. I'm going to be watching this for sure. It'll be between D'Eriq King, former University of Houston QB, who did great. He almost took them to a New Year's Six Bowl, but fell short. And it got towards ACL in the bowl game that they played in. And gosh, it was just unfortunate, but he will be back in time for when they play Alabama. So that's going to be really fun. And Alabama is coming off of a championship, but lost a lot of their players. So it'll be fun to see what Nick Saban has up his sleeve again. So that'll be a top 15 matchup. And at number 1, I have the game out of Bank of America Stadium in North Carolina. Clemson versus Georgia, top 5 matchup. So this will be fun to watch, just to see what Dabo Swinney has up his sleeve. His star quarterback in Trevor Lawrence just left, and it'll be fun to see what he has in store for the Tigers. And then Georgia, their quarterback situation was a little funky this past year, but a lot of people are thinking this team will be a playoff team this year, so that will be fun to watch. And, yeah, that's it for my top 5. Thanks for listening, and I'll keep this top 5 in mind because in the coming weeks, we'll probably do score predictions for this.
Yeah. But
that wraps up the sports section and just pretty much our whole show, and we just want to say thank you for tuning in. This was a blast, wasn't it, Tommy?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun being able to talk about my favorite films, as well as getting to know, more about college, kind of the ins and outs, and then our little Suicide Squad review and then sports. And great episode. A lot of fun all around the board for all of us and for the different interests we have. Guys, next Thursday, or this Thursday, so in a couple of days, we have our first guest ever on the show. So we will get into that on Thursday. Surprise everyone. But we have our first guest ever, and it is going to be our sports show. You guys know Thursdays, Brandon kind of leads the sports section. We get into that a little bit deeper. So fun stuff. I'm freaking pumped. we're gonna be talking about something that is near and dear to a lot of people's hearts, to say the least. So, but yeah, really fun episode. Had a blast talking about the different interests, and yeah, I think that's gonna be it for us today. So, my name is Thomas Hicks,
and I'm Brandon Matula.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Stay
hot, my friends.
All right, that was pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
One week. We'll get it 1 week.
All right, you guys have a great week, y'all. We'll see y'all on Thursday.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.